Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna, and today I am here with special guest, Franklin Wall. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. We're doing really well. It's been busy. We had a bunch of travel dates. And so, with travel comes sick people on airplanes. And so I happened to bring home a little souvenir that I wasn't planning on, a little cold. But other than that, we're doing great. We're busy, but good. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm very thankful that we are distancing, like social distancing again, so you keep a little sniffle, whatever. But thank you. I'm awesome. Sunny Florida, hot as always here. I remember where are you guys currently located?
We're here in Huntington Beach, California. So we're on the other end of things. And I don't know if you heard, but we had like crazy rain this winter. We were in a drought for a long time, but we picked up on y'all. We get a bunch of rain, and where it's like, is it 4:00? Sure, rain. Like it's been a little bit Florida weather, which is great. We need it, California.
Yeah, and of course it's every weekend.
Yes,
it's just Saturday, Sunday. That's when the rain's coming.
Yes,
ruin your weekend plans.
Well, my son plays baseball too, and so it's like their little league has been so bumped to have so many canceled practices and games and stuff. So it's been hard getting all that scheduled, but. It's California, so just like Florida, we can't really complain. Like it's still pretty great.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Yes, I only start to complain when it hits summer, and then I'm like, well, technically, I'm not even in Florida most summers because we get in the RV and head west. Usually, not too much time in California, but we spent some time in California last year. This year it's mostly Oregon, Washington. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we
both had Seattle dates recently.
Yes,
I love it up there.
Yeah, I love it up in Seattle, and I love RVing too. I like that. It's so fun to like just go, and you have your house with you, so you can just kind of do whatever. That to me is like a blast. Like I guess people call it like glamping, which I like real camping too. I like tent camping, but like if you can take the RV and just like go, it's so fun. Especially my boy turns 10 this month, and then my girl's 11, so it's just easy with the kids too. It's a lot of fun.
It is, for sure. Great memories and crazy times. And you have to be so versatile, just like music. Yeah. You have to be versatile in what you're doing because, something could break and you're like, okay, what do I do? Oh, look, duct tape. Or, just a bad example.
Yeah, look, that's fun. Figure it out. Exactly. And it's made for good travelers too. We've talked to the kids about, whatever door God opens if we end up going on tour or whatever, whatever door opens with music and stuff. But the kids are good little travelers. So they're ready for I should say when that chapter comes, because they like being around and just seeing new places. So, we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. So I'll start off with one of the most difficult questions. Hopefully this is the only difficult question of the day. Tell our audience, who is Franklin Wall?
I'm Franklin.
I'm Wall. That's how we got the name. Together we are
Franklin Wall.
Yes, he's Dan Franklin. I'm Stephanie Wall. We have been friends for 13 years now.
Yeah, 13 years. We met together in a show at Disneyland. It was called the Mad Tea Party.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of high energy Alice in Wonderland themed rock and roll.
But like Tim Burton-y, rock and roll.
And it was a big cult hit here in Anaheim.
It was fun,
people really, really dug it. I was the guitar playing Dormouse, and she was Alice, the singing Alice.
It was fun, yeah. So
it was a good time.
It was like 4 years. We started playing together in cover bands then and developing our friendship when we wrote movies and TV shows. Like we just, we were in acting, like we just in entertainment in general. And then, life ran its course. I had babies. He was doing his own projects. And then the pandemic hit and everything shut down, and we were trying to find ways to stay creative. So we developed a web series together. And then out of that, he was like, I got divorced. He ended up getting divorced, and he was like, I want to take a writing meeting with you. And I was like, well, I got to warn you, when I write, it feels like country music. And he's like, great. That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. Because he was on tour with Leanne Rimes and Kelly Coffey. Like he did Nashville, he did it all. And country is like in my blood with my family. So we started writing, and our first couple meetings, like the songs just started flying, and it was fun and easy. And So we came out with the first 5 together, and then, then all of a sudden it was like a spark. Like, what's that? What's different? Like, we've been friends for 13 years. Like, but I kind of want to kiss you now. Like, what's going on? And then so we've been together dating for
just over a year,
just like a couple days over a year actually. Yeah. But it's great because we have that foundation of friendship, and so yeah, we're just kind of we're writing right now and seeing what doors open to us.
Absolutely. Well, and happy 1 year, because it is. It's always exciting,
Yeah. New chapters, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's just what life is. I mean, yeah. Life is just constantly changing.
Figure out the details later, yeah.
It's the Phoenix analogy, right? It just, everything gets burned and reborn and burned and reborn. And
yeah, that's huge in our life.
You just hopefully you learn the lessons from it and you come back stronger and,
totally agree.
Learn from your mistakes and
yeah, that's been a big motif
do what you can
in our lives. It's just like, when things kind of get burned down, like, like the pandemic, and everybody in entertainment really was like, okay, what do we do? We took to writing again, and it was kind of this secret gift where we had to get really creative and dig our heels in and go, okay, what does my heart want to do? Like, do I want to go back to theater, or do I want to do what my heart tells me and write and do our own stuff, so, and luckily, thankfully, it's really been taken off and doing well. So I think there's little affirmations where you're like, I feel like God's like, yep, keep going. So just taking those and pressing on.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said that better myself, but you're right. Change, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. And that's the best we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the question about your latest release, Blueberry Waffle.
Yeah.
So obviously the story itself, and was this a personal loss?
Yeah, this was my father. I lost my father a year ago last January.
Mm.
And that was just, I don't know if you've ever gone through anything like that, but nothing prepares you for it. It's, losing a parent is so different than, and it was sudden.
It was totally
Yeah, there was just no warning. And, and then they're out of town. So I kept going out of town to try to help my mom and, deal with his mountain of, he was, I don't want to call him a hoarder. But I will say that he was a collector of things, and
records.
We are still dealing with that to this day, and it's just such a whirlwind, and there was just so much to write about in that time. But I was on tour. I was in I think Colorado Springs. And I was having a waffle, and I remember putting blueberries in all the different squares. And that was something that my dad and I used to do, and we'd make those waffles. And it's those kind of memories that just become, kind of like handholds, and like little placeholders in your life where you can kind of touchstone. That's the word I was using.
Yeah.
Where you can go back and you can remember that, and kind of people stay alive through those things.
Absolutely. And yes, I lost my mom unexpectedly as well.
So
yeah, many years ago, and I always consider myself blessed because my mom was a cancer survivor. So to have her even, so I always felt like I was blessed to have my mom, and we always had a warped sense of humor where she used to say, like, if there's any reason I'm going to be like I won't come back mentally or anything like that, and I'm gonna be on machine, just pull the plug, just trip over it, it'll be fine, don't worry, no one will notice, you'll trip anyway. So I'm like, thanks, Mom. Nice to put in my clumsiness there. But that was
thanks, Mom.
Like that. But it was the affirmation of it'll be okay. Like, there's more to, so when that time did come, it was okay. It killed me, but it was, I knew it's what she wanted. It was her wish, and that, so
yeah. Absolutely. My mom says the same thing. I don't know if that's comforting. My mom has recently been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and so she's been dealing with dementia for a little while, and it's the one that goes into Alzheimer's, unfortunately. So we're taking it day by day. But she does say the same thing where she's like, if I ever am driving you crazy and I don't know my own name anymore, just be done. She says, just put me in a boat and push and say bye. I'm like, Mom, no. Never. But she's the exact same way, and and as a mother now, it's like, knowing never wanting to be a burden to our children, right? We always want to set them up for success and then let them fly, but as the children we're like, mommy, so it's tough, but it's growing up is weird, right? It's weird becoming the adults and being the parents and then having your parents be it's a strange transition. And I feel like as we were just getting comfortable with that, Dan's parents are a little on the older side, as are mine. I was like the last chance kid. So I'm kind of the first of my close friends to be dealing with that sort of thing. And they're just incredibly supportive, and it's great, but it's a tough road to navigate, right? Because it's, it's part of life, but part of it just feels so unfair. And it's, so we're definitely dealing with those sorts of things in our writing now, and what we have coming out, dealing with things that we've been struggling with, honestly, since the pandemic. And I've had some choice words for the Lord. I've definitely given him a piece of my mind. But he knows, he's the good father that we all dream about, but he's there and he loves us. And he knows I'm just his little child down here throwing a fit, writing songs about it, just trying to help people. But right, it was like just trying to let people know, like, number one, he already knows what we're thinking, so you might as well talk about it. You might as well write a song about it and let other people know that they're not alone in feeling those things and in thinking those things. I had such a good talk with one of my best girlfriends. She was saying that she feels bad when she's mad at God, or when she, and I'm like, why do you feel bad? Every emotion we have is from him anyway. And then also, like, he already knows, so you might as well talk to him about it. Like, he knows you're pissed, so like, let him have it. It's like, there's a whole book in the Bible, Lamentations, give me a break. There's a whole, so just like let him know. And then it was a good talk. It was Jenny and I. So it was a really good talk. And I think that's important in artistry, is to let those things out and help people know, like, you're not the only one that feels like this. Like, everybody has moments like this, and dealing with loss. And so, that's what the next chapter.
Well, that, like you said, like with Blueberry Waffles, we have a few fans that have personally reached out to me and said, this was such an important song for me because I'm going through the exact same thing right now. And it's really
we didn't even know
process this. And
we didn't know, like, some of our fans that are like, they come to every show, and we didn't know that they were dealing with that sort of thing. So you just never know whose life you're going to touch by being honest in your music. I love that song. He brought it to me. That's one that I didn't really have a hand in the writing. Like, most of the stuff we write together, but that one, he was like, I gotta just write this for Raj. Raj is his dad's name. They called him Raj. And I was like, yeah, babe, go for it. And it was just this outpouring of his heart into music. And I think a lot of people really responded to it.
It was a great song. That was the first thing when I listened to it. I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, and it took me back to those certain things, like, like, I know we were talking before we started today, like, how myself and my co-host had met. And there was a song that Brandy Clark had co-written with Liz Rose and the Love Junkies, and it was called Remember Me Beautiful. Well, back to that sixth sense of humor. My mom would say that. So it just reminded me, as soon as I heard that, I took a stake into that song and back to just immediately. So I mean, I think when you hear songs that touch your heart, even if you haven't lived that exact memory or that exact moment, it does translate, because we've all have different experiences, but we all have similar experiences. So it just brings it.
It just helps people feel less alone. Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Yes.
I'll look up that song. Is that the one on Spotify, or?
I'll share it to you then. I'll share it to you after the
yeah,
absolutely.
Hear it. That sounds really lovely. Remember Me Beautiful. That sounds great.
Yeah, it was such a cool song, and then hearing obviously their story to the song. Like when you hear, this is why I love songwriters. I'm a songwriter junkie myself, and I write myself. But that's the number one thing that I love about getting to meet everyone and do what I do here, is to hear the stories behind the songs. Like, that to me is just like the ultimate.
Same.
Like,
same. Yeah. And there are certain lyrics where I'm like, why that lyric? Like, tell me. I know there's something under there, and I love hearing those stories, because it just makes it so much richer, even to connect. It's really cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, in writing Blueberry Waffles, there were a lot of times where I was thinking, is this
too specific
lyric just too specific to my situation? But then I'm like, you know what? No, because first off, people will interpret it in their own way, but beyond that, it will give me something to talk about in interviews.
Well, yes, and also I remember you being concerned specifically about the chorus lyric about like drinking coffee with Marilyn Monroe. You're like, are people going to get that? And I was like, honey, even if they don't get it, like people, especially the country music audience, they're so in tune with like being able. Do you have the cup? He's getting the cup. They're so in tune with just imbuing their own memories and their own feelings into what they know when a lyric isn't literal. The country music audience gets it, So I was like, no, baby, write it.
This one was pretty literal though. This is the mug.
There she is. There's Marilyn.
Aw. Hi, Marilyn.
Yeah. This was my dad's
Favorite.
Sunday mug. Every Sunday he would drink coffee out of this one.
Yeah.
And so it's mine now.
But like, and everybody's made and I think the people that love the song, they've made their own Marilyn Monroe. You know what I mean? Like they know that means something to you, and that to them they've attached their own parental memory or whoever you're dealing with that loss about. I think they've attached their own memory. They've made their own Marilyn Monroe for this song, and I think that's what country music audiences really do. Like, even if it is kind of a literal lyric, I think they put their own story onto it. I think.
Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely, because I mean, any interpretation, that's what, just like you were saying, like, as I said, the blueberry waffles weren't something but it transitioned for me. And I'm like,
you make your own blueberry waffles. Like, what is that to you? Yeah. Yeah. And that we love hearing that. We have asked our fans, like, what's your blueberry waffles? And then people have messaged us back saying, it was sitting and watching Price is Right in the morning with my mom, or it was sitting, Sunday nights, my grandma used to put on the Lawrence Welk show, or what, they make their own, they have their own blueberry waffles, and it means something different to them. And that's what's great about being a songwriter, as because you write, like just how people relate to what you put out there. It's a special thing. It's why we're all here, to connect and help each other.
Absolutely. So who was the person in your life that introduced you to music, like when you were little? Like, who was that person that was like, oh, hey, listen to this music? Like, or they were always playing music?
Why don't you start?
Oh gosh. Well, for me, my parents liked music, but it wasn't, I was like the little weird kid. My mom had her own salon. She was a beautician, and my dad was in construction. And I was this weird kid that showed up and was like, I want to be a singer. And my parents were like, okay. So but my grandparents loved like that was my specific thing. My grandparents loved the Lawrence Welk show. I would sit and they would put on, we had a local gospel artist named Lily Fern, and she was a good friend of the family. And Lily Fern and the Weatherfords was her gospel group, and we'd visit with them all the time and listen to them, and and just singing in church and stuff. And that's what really started it for me. Also, there's a California country artist named Kelly Ray, and she's just the best. Like she was in the room when I was born, and like quite literally, because her and my sisters were best friends in high school and stuff. So I loved her, and I loved her music, and she kind of took me under her wing and would let me sit in with her band when I was little. Like she'd play the Orange County Fair or the Crazy Horse or wherever she was playing. And then little 7-year-old me would come up and sing whatever chick's song was on the radio at the time. And so lots of little influences and people that kind of were like, oh, this little kid wants to do this. Okay. And they started kind of fostering that. And then high school, I sang in the plays and stuff. And then I ended up doing theater for a while, because that was like the school route, right, of trying to do this. But New York just isn't my town. I was fortunate enough to be on Broadway in 2017, but at that point my kids were 3 and 4 years old, and it's rough, man. Like being in Manhattan with Nuggets was just like, I want to go home. I want them to have a yard. I want them to be able to be outside, and I'm not terrified, so we came home, and then, was doing music and shows out here, and then the pandemic, and then this. So that's the very Reader's Digest version. But, it's been lots of different chapters within that. But music's always been kind of my way of expressing myself and relating to other people, What about you, babe?
I mean, music really chose me. I remember I was pretty much an aimless kid, kind of doing whatever, watching movies and wishing I was like a fighter pilot or a Ghostbuster. And then, did a lot of martial arts, but apart from that, very little. And then my brother told me when I was 14 that if I played guitar, that girls would like me. And I said, cool. That's enough for me.
Right.
So he was right. But, once I started playing guitar, it just it just barrel rolled from there. I picked up a guitar when I was 14. I started singing in the choir at school, and 6 months later, I'd written my first symphony, and then I just kind of kept going from there, and just started picking up any instrument I could, and kind of going from there. Started songwriting when I was 14 as well.
He won't brag about himself, but I will. This guy is like, he just has that brain that like understands music in a way that I don't think my brain will ever really wrap around it. Like he can pick up truly any instrument and just play it. Like he's an incredible guitarist and he's known so well for his guitar playing, but he's even better at playing bass, and no one even knows that about him. But like that was like, he's this like crazy savant human. But so I'm jealous of him all the time because he really can play like anything. He started picking up stuff when he was 14, and that he never stopped. No, friends for 13 years and then dating for a year, and there's still stuff that you do that I'm like, what? You play that? Like you know how to? And he's like, yeah, like it's no big deal. I'm like, cool, sweet.
Yeah, but then I went to Cal State Northridge and majored. I was an opera singer there, and
again, like what? Yeah, opera singer.
I definitely would not have thought opera for you. Definitely not.
So, well,
that's cool.
All music, it's all just window dressing. It's all just how you doll it up. But a good song is a good song. I grew up picking bluegrass with my buddies out in the vineyards in Northern California. Making wine, and then did the serious music at college, and then after that kind of went back to rock and country. And she said I played with Leanne Rimes and Kelly Coffey, Aaron Lyons. I played with Slash. I played on the Grand Ole Opry even. But just life has been very good to me with opportunities. I play in a pirate band. I make pirate music.
It's a riot.
We've been all over the world doing that stuff. So it's never a dull moment.
And that is life in itself. That is living life, just enjoying it.
Yeah.
You just say yes.
That's our thing. Say yes, figure out the details later. Sure. We'll figure it out.
I love that. That's a good philosophy.
Yeah. Just say yes. Just say, yeah, okay, great. It's opportunity. Great. I'll figure it out. We'll figure out the details later. And like, that's what I've learned. Like, honestly, I've learned more from life and from doing than I have from any course I've taken, from college, from anything. I learned by doing, So I think, yeah. I'm trying to teach my kids that. I'm like, just try it. Just say yes. And you'll sort it out,
You're trying to get them to eat vegetables, aren't you? No,
when I tell you, my daughter is like, she's adventurous. Like she'll try anything, she's great. I'm like, really, just try it. You'll like it, or if you don't, whatever, you can spit it out, but I want you to at least try it. She's like, okay. My son, I'm telling you, if I'm like, Emmett, please just try it. And if you don't like it, if you really don't think you can even swallow it, you can spit it out in the napkin. And I'm telling you, he'll put it in his mouth, he'll like chew a couple bites, and he's like, ooh. And like he has thrown up on the table at me before, where I'm like, when you see that initial gag, you're like, forget it, just spit it out. Don't even try it. Just let it go. Like
but his problem is he's decided he doesn't like it.
He's already decided. Yes, I know. Bless him. It's so they're very different, Yeah. But yes, Riley will do it. Emmett, no dice.
Oh, so great. So would you like to do 13 crazy questions?
Yay! Yeah. Let's do crazy questions. Okay. I love it.
Who answers these?
Both of you.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you have any guilty pleasure music? Something that's like buried. And I used iPod the other day, but I'm like, I realized I was talking to a 14-year-old who's never had an iPod. So I was like, oh man. Okay, wherever you put music on. So what is your guilty pleasure music?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess it's like dorky musical theater stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I kind of grew up loving that. So like I have right. I mean like that. Or it's either my angry girl music, which is like, like angry Christina or like Brit, or like or like really or like dorky musical theater stuff. Like I have my workout playlist that like gets me pumped up, and So Much Better from Legally Blonde is definitely on there. So I guess maybe that's my guilty pleasure. Like I'm a total Sarah Bareilles junkie. I think she is just an incredible writer, and the way that she's able to manipulate language and music into exactly the way a moment feels, she's one of my favorite writers. But I don't know if I don't know if that's considered, that's a
That's
guilt,
not
I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure. That's just like,
It's awesome.
that's like
But it's good
songwriter
music,
heroine,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Guilty
exactly.
pleasure is if you're like, I like the Macarena, like that's guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I can't do them, but I love my Brit, I love my Christina, and I guess guilty pleasure is like my nerdy musical theater stuff, like
Yeah.
where people are like, "What?" and I'm over there like singing every lyric, like Les Mis, just
Yeah.
like going for it. So I guess that's mine, right? What's yours?
Well, I was gonna say, I'm a huge punk rock fan, and there's a lot of bands, Bad Religion, Dead Kennedys. Like, there's a lot that I really like. However, I think what I'm gonna say is Weird Al Yankovic. I've seen Weird Al Yankovic live 4 times in my life. I actually got his autograph on my forehead.
I was gonna say, wasn't it on your body?
Yeah, it was right here. Ow. Right
Ow.
on my forehead.
Yeah.
But his guitar player, Jim West, was a huge influence of mine, because I always thought it was amazing that Jim could he could play anything, like no matter what the song was. It could be like Eddie Van Halen's solo in Beat It from Michael Jackson, and he'll like nail it note for note. And then he'll turn around and play some pop thing, and he'll turn around and play some whatever it is, or all of Al's crazy polkas. I always admired Jim West for being such a chameleon.
Do you have a guilty pleasure music? Did you have one as well?
I don't think I don't think I do right now, at least that I can think of. Of course, there's some of that old 90s, like Hanson or something like that, like, the stuff that we wouldn't admit to singing along to, but we're like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah.
It comes on and you're like, yeah, like, oh, it does rap count? Is that guilty pleasure? My sisters would love, I grew up in like Santa Ana. The joke is like my whole family, they brought Oklahoma out to Santa Ana, California with them. So like, but I grew up there, but it was like either like country music, oldies, or like my sisters would put on like that like 90s rap, like that good kind of stanky like 90s 2000s rap, and I definitely know more of that rap.
I think guilty pleasure has less to do with genre than artist. Like, okay, so with rap, like Snoop Dogg, not a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
MC Hammer, guilty pleasure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like it,
yeah. I would agree there.
Yeah.
Okay, finish this line. Today, my favorite song is.
Try Losing One.
Oh yeah, I want you to sing that.
Yeah,
you would sound good on that. I love that song.
That's a great tune.
My gut just told me I went to one of my like top 5 favorite songs of all time, and it's Vienna by Billy Joel.
Oh yeah.
That song is always
sings the snot out of that. It's real good.
It's funny. I just like, to me, it's like I have to remind myself all the time. Like, I don't know if you know that song. It's just like, just stop. Like, stop it. You're doing great. Like, Vienna is all around you. Like, just enjoy your kids being 10 and 11. Like, like, cause the country music hustle, it's so real.
And she means today. Like, what is like the song you're into right now today, these days? Like my current favorite song. Well, not all time.
That's the one that just popped in my head. Today.
Yeah, like, what's that one song that's on repeat that you've had like been listening to like for nonstop?
For a second, it was Carly Pearce, What He Didn't Do, which I love that song. And then I also really like, I can't remember the name of the artist right now, so I want to kick myself. But the one, I'd Want Me Back Too. And I think her name is Lindsay. Oh, you know what else? Alexandra Kay. She's an independent artist. And Jelly Roll just picked her up for his tour because she's an independent artist, and her stuff is so wonderful. And one of the songs she wrote is called "Painted Imperfect." That's great. That's been on a ton lately. In the shower, where I always, if I see it come up on my shelf, I go right to it because, again, and a lot of her stuff is like solo or co-write. Mm-hmm. Honestly, she's a good new writer to keep an eye on. But yeah, Alexandra Kay, "Painted Imperfect" has been on repeat for sure lately.
That kind of lays into the next question is, recommend an artist or song that everyone needs to listen to before they die.
Before they die? Franklin Wall. Just kidding. No, an artist or a song that everyone needs to listen to before they die. I mean that one. I guess that one would be Vienna, Billy Joel. Like you can't live your life and not hear that song. Also, like, certainly. Is it dorky of me to say like this, I guess, is where maybe where guilty pleasure comes in. Like, I love I'll Be by Edwin McCain. I know I'm sentimental. That's like,
yeah. Anytime that's on, I shoot a little video of myself singing along and send it to her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Elvis Costello.
He's a huge Elvis Costello fan.
Nearly his entire catalog. There's a few turds in there, but for the most part, it's
Or you know, and then maybe like for also maybe say Sarah Bareilles. She Used to Be Mine. That's just like a incredible one of I mean, it's one of her most famous songs, I guess, recently, but it's incredible.
Yeah.
Also Armor by Sarah Bareilles. Just listen to Sarah Bareilles. Just listen, take as much Sarah as you can. Yeah. As the Sarah Bareilles, Elvis Costello, just dive in.
Great recommendations. So tell me, your number one, your top concert that you've attended.
Top concert I've ever attended.
That's hard because I've been to so many.
I recently got to go to I saw Morgan Wallen at SoFi, and that was a really fun show.
Did he throw a chair at you?
He didn't throw a chair at me.
That's good.
But a Hardy, I know, right? Hardy played, and I'm trying to think of like favorite, like, I mean, Shania puts on an amazing show, and the fact that she's still performing the way that she's performing, like she just hasn't lost any speed. It still sounds great, looks great. Like her Vegas residency is incredible. So yeah,
this might be off the beaten path, but I used to work at the Grammys, and when I was doing one of the Grammy Awards shows, I want to say it was 2001. But I was there attending the show, and Sting was there, and he had just done his Desert Rose album, and he was performing that song. And on the stage was like multi-layered. He had a full horn section. He had all these ethnic instruments. He had belly dancers. He had literal fire pits on the stage. He had that guy doing his throat. I forget his name, Cheb Mami, doing his throat singing stuff. Crazy band like Manu Katché, I think, was playing. It's incredible. Sting is just standing there perfectly still at the microphone in the front of the stage, just playing bass and singing the song, and you can't take your eyes off him. There's a circus happening all around him, but you're glued. And I thought that was pretty epic.
Yeah, that's a huge lesson in like presence, right?
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
It's cool to have all that stuff and all that production, but when you've got that thing that makes people where they can't take their eyes off you, and you can just stand there and be that presence, like that's a huge. I love watching people like that, because I just like that. For me, I just take notes. You know, I just a genius, baby.
I know, just for
it's like a master class. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that is definitely cool.
Yeah. I think Dan was just reminding me that I have to pick up the kid. I have to leave to pick up my kids in like 10 minutes ish.
Okay, well then let's get going.
I could sit here and talk
bucket list. Bucket list. Tell me something on your bucket list.
Japan for me.
Oh, yeah.
Ireland for me.
Greece for me.
Greece.
Lots of travel. I want to go see the ruins in Greece. I want to snorkel through the ruins where it's like that's like this is Bible stuff. Like I want to go and like touch it myself. I would love to go to Greece. I'd love to go to Italy.
Yeah.
I'm a history dork. So like going to see those historical sites, I'd love to go like see the Alps.
Yeah. Pyramids.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I would do that with you.
All that stuff.
So yeah, it's mostly travel related stuff. And obviously, like, you know, I think I've got to let go of the award thing. I used to say like I want to win a Grammy, I want to win, but it's so like it's such a, sorry for the word, it's such a crapshoot. Like, you know, and you just, you know, is it about the recognition or is it about the lives you touch?
It's more about a label having money and making sure you get an award.
Yeah. So I'm like, that, I guess that'd be cool. But like, for me, it's like, I want to do life stuff. I want to see my daughter. I want to see my daughter graduate college and own her own company. I want to see my son be a good man and a good husband. Like that's my bucket. And I want to travel with them. The memories, you know, that's the bucket list stuff for us, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Living. That's it. So if we made a movie about your life tomorrow, what actress or actor would you want to play you?
Oh, I would say like Goldie Hawn, but I mean, or maybe Kate Hudson. I don't know. She has to be funny. Just like, she has to be, you know, I've been blonde forever. So like, but she can't just be like the pretty blonde. I would like, or like whatever. Not that I'm pretty, but you know what I'm saying? Like I want someone who's like funny and quirky and dorky. Cause I had a rough life. I got made fun of in school. I was quote, people would say that I was chubby. That's why I got made fun of for that. I was a theater nerd. I had a rough go about it in junior high and high school, and then very much this ugly duckling story, I would definitely want someone who understands that. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe Kate Hudson, or I don't know. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, for you.
Oh, for me, you. Boy, if we're just going off acting talent alone, I'll take a young Gary Oldman. But he doesn't look like me. So I guess that doesn't really matter. But if we're going for actors that look like me, it's what's his name? It's a 3-name thing. The drummer from That Thing You Do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he looks a lot like me. I forget his name though. It's killing me. So I don't know. I guess I'll take Gary.
Gary Oldman. That's a good actor.
All right. Well, do you have a game plan for zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, of course.
He's my game plan for zombie apocalypse.
I have read the Zombie Survival Guide by Mel Brooks's kid, Alex Brooks, 5 times.
And he used to teach, again, in chapters, he used to teach Krav Maga. He trained Krav Maga kids for like, how long?
Not just kids, but yeah.
Everybody. A police officer.
I've done martial arts since I was 7.
Yeah, so he has a whole life in that. So like between the martial arts thing, like I know how to shoot, I know how to like do, the basics, the extreme basics, but like this one is like, he's ready. So I'm like, all right, babe, you just do it, and you just direct, and I'll help. Like, I'll be the first mate.
I've always lived by the philosophy of love everyone, but have a plan to kill everyone you meet.
I feel like this is your future book that you have to write or something now.
Yeah, that has to be a future song, right?
Yeah. Or even a book. That sounds like it would be like a book, tell me something you would never do.
Something I would never do.
Jump out of a perfectly good airplane. I don't know.
Something I would never do.
I would never sacrifice my integrity to get ahead. I know that means different things for different people, but whether that was like a casting couch situation or, screwing over a friend, or I would never. I've heard so many stories, and it's like friendships lost, and it's just such a bummer. I would never. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. We'll get successful a different way. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's for me. Like loyalty is everything to me. So that's a never for me, big time.
Boy, gosh, that's really hard.
Would you ever skydive? I don't think you would.
Why not?
You would?
Yeah.
I don't think I would.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the reason. Like it just doesn't, I don't think I would like necessarily fear to do it. It's just, wouldn't seek it out.
Sure.
But as far as something that I wouldn't do, you know what? Eat durian. I will never eat durian.
Yeah, that smells like butt.
Yeah, it's an Indonesian fruit that smells like rotting flesh.
It's awful. I don't know if you've ever smelled it, but it's like,
there you go.
I'd like to be counted in for never doing that also. That just,
Good plan. Solid.
So hypothetically, if I called you and said, I have a dead body I need to hide, do you know a good hiding spot?
We'll find one, and I have bleach, so don't worry. Say yes and figure out the details later. That's just what it is. We'll just, tell me the reason. You're my friend. I got you. I'm sure you have a good reason. Tell me the reason later. But we'll figure it out.
Mine is probably, sure, I'll be right over. Hi. Officer.
See, no, that's not. He's
so we're not calling you.
No, don't call Dan. Call, but for sure, call me. For sure.
But with anything in life, it's situational.
See, if it's one of my girls, I'm telling you right now, if it's one of my girls and she's like, do you have the bleach? I'll be like, yeah, explain later. Just tell me where you are. I'll show up with a shovel and bleach, like the song. And then we'll figure out the details later. Yeah.
Sounds good. So if your life was a reality TV show, what would you call it?
I know mine. I would call it Prodigal Daughter.
Oh, you thought about that.
I have, because you talk about writing a book. Like I definitely have been. Think there's so much more to tell about my childhood, but and just my life. But there was a moment when I was like, I definitely took some hard left turns. nothing, I guess, like too well. It's on the next interview, right? But yeah,
Or not.
yeah, just how I came back around to faith and music, and I think I'd call it prodigal daughter. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I've got to think about that. I got to think of something clever. It would probably be something having to do with, constantly just learning lessons your entire life, and you know, um, as Bruce Lee said, being like water.
That would be a good title, babe. Being like water, because you've
There you go.
you've
We
reinvented
got the
yourself.
blue in the back. It's perfect.
There you go.
Awesome. We're gonna get those shirts made tomorrow.
Yes.
If you had or owned a bar or pub, restaurant, what would you want to call it?
What do you want to tell her about Colorado Springs?
What about? Oh, no, I don't, because
I will be there soon, just so you
might be
know.
bad. No.
We just did a jingle for a bar or restaurant out there, and the name is like, you shouldn't. I wouldn't ever name a bar that.
Right.
But
you never know.
they did.
It might be very successful.
We recorded a jingle for it, and it's funny. But that again, next interview. But what would we call ours?
Well, I always thought that my name is Dan. I always thought that if I opened a donut shop, I'd call it D's Nuts.
I always wanted to open. I love floral arranging. Yeah, good job, babe. I like floral arranging. I'm a dork about that, but I wanted a shop called Wallflowers if I was doing like floral arranging and stuff. But it's like a bar. I mean,
yeah, something to think about.
Come to the wall. Come to the Franklin Wall. I don't know.
Wall. The Franklin Wall. I like that.
Maybe. And just like have a cool wall outside people could sign and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool.
Something to consider. I'm sure we'll open one someday.
Okay, well, I look forward to visiting. So, last question of the crazy questions. If you could be any person or position, who or what position would you want to be and why?
Right here, right now.
Yeah, if I could be any person or position.
CEO of Franklin Wall.
Yeah, I mean, I was scared to become a mother when it happened. But now it's my favorite job. And I know that sounds cliche, but like, so just, CEO of Franklin Wall, to be like a household name, like, the next Faith and Tim, not that we need a Grammy, but just to, that our music is reaching a lot of people and that we get to live a good life and provide a good life for our kids, with our music and it just traveling and making memories. Like that's it. I can't stand politics. Drives me crazy. I don't need to be famous. You just want to have a good life with our fam. Yeah.
And everyone's famous in a small town. I believe there's a song about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Local celebrities, right?
Exactly. So what else is going on for the rest of 2024? And I know you have to go get the kids in, so.
Yes, we have a couple really cool shows coming up. We're opening for Ben Gallagher, and Presley Tennant at Blaker Brewing.
Yeah, that's Friday.
Yeah,
by the time this airs, we already did that, and it was amazing.
Yes, and we have opening for Cafe Anderson May 31st.
That's awesome. Really looking forward to meeting him.
And then the Sea Lake show on June 1st. This might have already will be airing after that, but there's good stuff coming up. And then a bunch of summer shows. We're going to be at Knott's Berry Farm, and if you're all in California. This summer, there was a bunch of Saturdays on our website. If you go to Franklin Wall residency, franklinwallmusic.com, all the dates are listed there.
Link in the description.
Yeah, as well as loads of concerts in the park and other club dates and things like that.
Yeah,
beautiful. Well, everyone, go catch them. Go to the website, obviously, link in description, and go catch a live show and tag us all when you do.
Yes, we will absolutely be tagging you guys, and we're praying for everything that's going on with your sweet, sweet co-host, and then we'll do a celebration show once she's back. We're just so excited, she's going to be done with it. This is the last round. That's going to be it. She's going to be done, and then we're all going to celebrate. I'm just saying it out loud.
Absolutely, and maybe you'll be playing somewhere nearby because I'm going to be out west in Colorado and Washington and wherever. So maybe we'll just all catch up and We'll
do a celebration. We'll do a little celebration beverage and we'll raise a toast and maybe write a song together. I know you write, so do a little co-write.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode. Again, links in description. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.